So you guys, this is it. So we're going to completely set up HTML complete package, HTML complete beginners to advanced, having up all the modules or all the things that need to be handled inside HTML. This is a complete beginners video to the advanced and the complete version. So remember, this kind of it's for internship, and then we expect after this video definitely we shall be looking onto CSS, and we shall also at the end of the day look onto how to deal with the PHP, JavaScript, Ajax, Johnson, and talk also of jQuery. If possible, we shall have all those sorted out. So the first thing first, I'm just going to start up with the simple modules that I will need to break down, and we believe we shall be having, or we need to really have, if possible, to make everything sorted out. So I'm just changing my font size to something like, if possible, I increase it a bit so you guys can see what I really have around there. That's good. So here, this is it. We're going to just start with the HTML, HTML5, and in our HTML5, these are some of the stuffs we are going to be breaking down. We're going to be looking to first over the procedure HTML5 structure. You get? We also have using div structure. You get? I remember telling you guys about the div structure. We talk of the tags, dealing how do you handle the tags, how do you make tags, how do you deal with elements, and also how do you work, or how do you tend to work with something called how do you add maybe images. I'm just going to straight go further. How do you work with images? How do you break down something called, how do you add audios into the website? How do you deal with something called subscripts? Talk of subscript and subscripts. Talk of how do you add iframes into the websites. How do you make, or how do you add videos into our website? So these are all the stuffs we're going to cover in possible in this package. And how do you deal with the tables? How do you add the tables into the site? How do you deal with the forms in our website? What else should we talk about that maybe we have not covered? I said the forms, tags, elements, tables, iframes. What else? I think that's it for now. That's like a complete, this is like a complete, I expect this to be a complete HTML. Yes, there are some few things that I might have not listed down here, but in most cases we tend not to use it. We use it in most cases in rare cases. So I'm just going to start up with the simple stuff. The first thing comes in first. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to create up a simple file here, complete video, complete, HTML5 complete. So what am I going to do? I make sure just you have a Sublime Text Editor installed. You may use Notepad++, you may use Atom, you may use Bracket. Here I'm talking about the editors that you may decide to come up with or to use, you get? But I expect you guys who are maybe with me at the moment, maybe you have Sublime Text Editor. To download it, just go to Google Chrome and type Sublime Text Editor. You get? Yes, you don't need to not to worry much on how to. You don't need to turn my internet's on and off, so you don't need to be worried about which editor. If you don't have it, you guys were seated here with me. I just have it on my flash. I share it with you. You get? Yeah, have that sorted out. So here, what I'm going to do is just drag this folder inside here, and if you check, I'm done with having it, or I'm already having it inside there. So the first thing comes in that we are going to be breaking down, starting up with the procedure HTML, which is this one up. So with the procedure, I'm just going to go down. If possible, I create a folder, or I just create a simple file, and I call it a procedure HTML. Procedure HTML5. Remember, it's going to be .html. Yeah. So remember, if you try to generate up a simple tag just like this, it should generate for you the complete structure of HTML, and which it is something like that. So this gives you the version of the browser, which by default is version 8, the smallest. Then this talks about the viewport. The viewport scale 1 means that whether it is in a smartphone, someone can still see very well with that. I think you guys ever gone to a smartphone as if you're trying to zoom. You want to zoom so that you can see the content. It's because those guys didn't add this meta viewport into their site. If this is lacking on your site, meaning your site is going to be like those ancient sites, you get, you first zoom and then you see what people have, what they have typed there. But if you leave the viewport, that means someone can definitely just see direct what we really have on our site. Now give assumption this is the title of the site, which you guys always see on the search engine. Maybe if you are talking of Facebook, maybe facebook.com, or maybe if it is google.com, whatever thing you want to talk of. Most cases the header is like the search engine, like the domain name of your site, you get. Like if I'm called michael.com, I always tend to put it, or we always tend to put it on the title of our site, so that when the search on the searching of the, or maybe on the search engine, it becomes more simple. Yes, there are more other properties that I can still talk about here inside here, that if you would add in your site, you can add it. Like the content here simply can still mean like you can either add the content, what's the site all about. Maybe it's going to be, since if it is Google, you can say Google search. You're trying to say it's Google search website. Is like you're trying to give the content of that, to give it, you're trying to initiate when someone is searching, let's say Google site, Google search website, it still takes to Google, because with the title it's going to be google.com. Maybe say my Google. You are trying to say that anything that someone types in should take me, how to learn Google. Remember, we still mean that when I type how to learn Google, I should be saying somewhere at point T, google.com. Then sometimes also we tend to give something called description. Description or describe. You get description of the site. This still means the same, that what you have inside the content here, you can also sometimes to some extent also have it down here on your site, where inside there you also have something called a description. So when you make your site with the metadata and even you describe what content you're going to be having in the site, it adds a lot to someone who's going to visit your site. You get me? It's easier for him or her, when they are visiting, they don't get lost. So this is just adding up some few content into your site. Is it okay? Now the next thing that I'm going to just start up here, which maybe I've not mentioned earlier before, is called the comments. Now if I save our website right now and I right click and go to the browser, you guys are going to see this. We have nothing completely there on our site. Like you can only see on the top we have google.com. Let me just change this to my friends here. Maybe we have alias. That's the name? With what? Like that. Alias. They were never going to call it aliens, but God bless us to alias. Okay, whatever. So if you check, maybe I don't know what it's all about. So if you did trying to check here, whatever thing you guys try to give there, remember that's going to be in the search engine. So I'm trying to say we have something called the comments, or maybe that shall also learn later on. So let me just explain to you guys something called the tags before I go to comments. This you're seeing here, we have the less than sign, the greater than sign. They're called tags like this. That's opening a tag, and I think you can just see the CSS gives us the Sublime Text gives us options, and I think you can just see this is called a tag. It expands to body from 0 to a given end point, meaning that when you end a tag, it's expected to have a beginning point and to the end point of a given particular stuff that you want to add inside your tag. So that's called opening a tag. And whenever you guys see this in HTML, that's called the closing tag. So this is called the opening tag. And also this you're seeing there is going to be called the closing tag. You get? Yes, so put that in mind, that you'll be seeing those kind of scenarios in your HTML. This is also very important, especially when you're doing up HTML. HTML has this policy. It has the opening and the closing tags. So you put that in the brain, put that in mind, that you should always have that in your brain, that tomorrow, whenever you want to come up with that, you should always have it. Okay, another thing that I have to talk to at the moment is about comments. Let me just do it with the comments. What are comments? Can someone tell me what's a comment?
Show someone that this is how it works, but it's not displayed.
it shows someone that this is how it works. Okay, good try. Well, comments in simple term, I can just say that a revised that piece of code written by you, a programmer or a website designer, that it explains more about what step or what you really want to come up with, but you tend to hide it away from the compiler, from the browser, to sense and actually recognize it. Okay, you don't want the browser, you don't want it to be displayed in the browser. You want it to be hidden. You don't want anyone else to see. So simply, that's called a comment. You don't want anyone else to know it. It's only you, a programmer, or another person who can actually view the source code of your project that can actually explain and describe that that's actually a comment. You get? So that implies indirectly. How do they write comment in HTML? In HTML, comment is too simple. You open up a tag, you put a question mark, you give 2 hyphen, so 2 minus, and anything you type inside here, anything inside here is a comment. You get? What does it mean? Anything you type inside there is a comment until the program sees one as 2 hyphen and 2 minus and a close. I don't know. Until the program sees that, that's when the comment ends. So this simply means this is the end of a comment, this is the beginning of the comment. You get? So just put that in mind, that anything you type inside there is going to be a comment in our HTML. And if you go back to the browser and try to run our program, we shall not see anything. Instead, here on top, we shall change it to alias or alias, something of that sort. Is it okay? So you put that in mind, that comment always helps us in that way. So if I may proceed with our stuff, let me just try to break a procedure HTML very fast, and we have this sorted out. So we have something called the sections. We have the header part of the website. That header part of the website, they are actually something called the header section. You can either call them header, not head but header, meaning they're going to be on the top of our site. And inside there, you may have H group. What is H group? H group consists of H elements, whereby it moves from H1, which is the biggest, to H6, like this. When you say H1, and say maybe my work, like so. So my work, you'll see it there as something big. And when someone comes there in my work and try to come back here in my project, and then say maybe H2, and I still say maybe my work with the same spelling, you realize that H1 is bigger than H2. So if you check, that's it becomes a little bit smaller. Yes. So if you try to go further and try to duplicate this, to H6, whereby just change this one here from that to H6 to H2, 3. I just change this one here to H4. I also change this one here to H5. Then lastly, this one here to H6, like that. And I've told you to end in H6, whereby H6 is the smallest, as you can see in our website. So most cases in the title section or in the title of your website, we tend to give either H1, either H2, either H3, either H4. You get? So you put that in mind, that which kind of header section do you really like to display on your website? Which type of header do you really need to put on your website? So you put that in mind. You get? So that each time you have that in the site, it actually describes for you really what you should have in the site. Is it okay? Yes. So now that's the point. So I'm going to just move this. But don't forget, this is under H group, meaning I can as well also add, if I know I'm going to have H element like H1 and H2 somewhere, or I have 2 H elements together in the same place, you can just pass them by giving something called H group, so that you group them inside H elements. So that's a good practice to have this kind of tags of yours placed just underneath inside your H elements, if possible, like so. Okay, whereby it will not change many things as such, but in a good way, is like you are trying to make a good practice for those H elements of yours that you want someone else to see or to portray what you really want to make. Now, after there, we also have the body section of your website. If you're using the procedure HTML elements or procedure HTML behavior, we have the body of the site or the content section. Get a content section. Section of the site. Okay, the content section of the site is like we have something called the section. Most cases just call them a section. We have it as a section. So there we can type anything else we need, like maybe H. If you're going to have more than 2 H groups, I told you what to do. But if you have only one, it's fine. You can either use H2, H3, depending on how you really want to have it there. Let me say alias boutique. I don't know if this is a spelling for boutique. Is that the spelling? Okay, alias boutique. Let me just say this is going to be alias boutique as well. Now aliasboutique.com. Let me see if that's the name we have done. And just here, alias work. Maybe alias beauty, whatever. I don't know. Or maybe fashion, since it is a boutique, should be fashions. So let me just say that's what we have there. I was just explaining to you more about this. So I can either remove this, or I can just say I remove that, repeat that. So I told you you have more than 2 H elements. That implies that's what we have within there. So we have something of that sort, as you can see, whereby this comes from the H group air header section, and this comes from the section of the site, like the content section of your site, which is this. You know, when you don't have the CSS, the things does not look nice. You feel like you don't have the feeling of the site. But here you can as well also have maybe another thing, maybe H6 or H whatever, maybe say our services. You get? You have there something like maybe our services. Our services is going to just be displayed here. But remember, if you want to get the difference here is that the H elements, they're always thick, they're always strong, they're always as if they're bolded. That's what you have to know, compared to the paragraphs. No matter if you always say H6, remember when you put H6, it tends to become very small. You get? Yes. But although you do what? That's it. Now let me just try to say inside our section, we're also going to generate some simple paragraph. And I'm just going to generate a lorem content, like so. Whereby if you check here inside our website, we have something of that sort. Are you getting it? Yeah. That simply gives us a chance to have a complete clue of our site. Most cases we also tend to come back on our site here. And what you always maybe see there is something called aside. Aside is like aside navigation. Maybe you want to put your navigation on the side, whereby inside there we have the links, like we have the navigation links, the nav, we have the unordered list or ordered list, like ordered list are this, ordered list, whereby inside ordered list we have list from 1, let me say this is going to be home. Before going to home, we have links inside there, like links, if you guys maybe know links. This is navigations, this is ordered list, this is link, and this is the list. You are listing up the content, and this is going to be the links, the anchor that when you click, where should it go? You get? Let me say I give a just assumption, I just generate up and try to say there this is going to be home page.html. I think that, and then this is maybe most cases you guys will see home. So if I just try to generate this and I try to paste 3 of them, this is going to be maybe contact us, and that implies this can be contact us.html. This is also can be maybe about us. So and this can be also maybe about us.html. So here you're just trying to make somebody understand that there are going to be links. That when someone check on our site, we have links there down. Trust me right now, if I click there, it takes us to a known page called home.html. Because it is not there, we get something called your file can't be accessed because it is not shown. It's not there. It does not be. You can't access it. We don't know where it is located yet. We have not yet created it. So if you come back here down and just try to say, you know what, inside there, I'm just going to generate another page called home.html. You get? This can be contact us. Contact us.html. That's what's about us.html. So if you check right now, refresh there, and I come in here, you get a known page. So you can create a link whereby, for instance, let me say this home page has nothing. If I just generate my content like that, and I just call it home page, is it okay? Then here inside the home page, I just create H. You can create your header if you want, because we believe we're going to be having our links. So I can just go back here in this navigation where there is a side part of it. If you want, you can just go straight there and you copy that navigation and you paste it in the header section. Meaning when somebody is there, you can actually get the navigations. That when I'm at home page, I'm in home page, but I want them to know I'm in home page of the site. Meaning I can go further inside the section of this site. I can actually generate the page like that, and I say home page. And inside my home page, I can also go further and I generate maybe a given particular list of content, like so. We have list of paragraphs or list of content that we really have inside our home page like that. So if you check here, boop, you see that's home page. But we have the other page which actually are coming from, which should be actually in simple time you can make it be a home page or the default page. So you can actually generate it here. Most cases, the page you land in at first, the page you visit first becomes the home page. So that implies this procedure HTML you're seeing here is definitely our home page of the site. So I'm going to just change this to that, and I'm going to change this one here to that, so that definitely that becomes our home page of the site. So if you check here now, we have that. When you click here, it's alias. So if you click there, it remains. You get? So the other part, which is like our home page, I'm just going to copy this content and I put it inside our about us, and I close this one off, so that when somebody clicks on about us of our page, sorry, about us here, you see, takes us to about us, which I can just need to change this to about us. This is about us page. You get? Yes, that's about us page. But when someone click on home page, you see, boop, it takes us, this is the default page. When someone clicks on about us, home, it remains. When someone clicks on contact us, we get nothing. You get? So meaning the next thing now at the moment is to copy what's in this page and transfer it to this page, and I just put there something called maybe contact us. And then here we have something called contact us as well. So you just find the page like that. So when someone clicks on contact us, it remains there. When someone clicks on about us, it takes us to about us what page. When someone clicks on home page, it takes us to home page. You guys, that's how they add links to the website. It's as simple as that. You get? That's how we add links to a given particular website. So you find that in most cases that whenever you're trying to add a given particular link, you just need to make sure you know one thing. This head section or the links tends to be the same. You get? It's the one which makes us go back to the previous page. You get to my point there. So this is using procedure HTML. Remember here we have not added any CSS at all. Is it okay? Should we add some CSS? So most cases, we always have different types of CSS to add into the site. But before we adding a CSS, I wanted us to add all the possible things we have. Let me say, inside about us, we are going to add also some image there. Is it okay? We expect some image to be inside about us. When someone clicks on about us, there should be an image maybe around here. Not so? So let us first put all the things we said we are to cover, if possible. Then when you go to some CSS, it gives us a complete clue and a guide on how best all everything, if possible, should be displayed on our page. You get? So I'm just going to go back to our page here. Where is it? I'm going to go back to our page here, and I try to create pages. Sorry, files, folders. I'm going to create this one is for images. You get? And I'm also going to create another folder for audios. I'm also going to create another folder for videos. Are you getting that? That's how they do it. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go under my images here, and I just try to go underneath my Flutter mobile apps that I've been making of recently here, and I just try to pick some images if possible. Let me say those are the images we have. So I go back to my desktop, I just go inside here and I go under images, I paste it there. Is it okay? If you refresh this, you should see the images just displayed as that. Now I need also to add videos or audios onto the site. I'm just going to go back here, down here, and I just try to say I like there's a music I always like to listen to. It's each time I listen it I feel like, yeah, I think I'm in Nigeria if possible, though I'm not from Nigeria, but I think I just resemble them. Now when you just come back down here on underneath under audios, we have audio like that. I have that audio that I'm going to put there. Now I also have some part of the videos. I think I should have some video here. I think I have music. I think I should have music. I think I have this funny music. I don't know if I should love them, but I think I have videos. I think I have videos for Flutter mobile apps that I think it is worth sharing. So I'm going to just try to pick this very one here, and I paste it here on our stuff, underneath here, and I'm pasting it there under videos. Is it okay? So you already have a video there, if possible. So meaning if you go back to our files, we already have everything as expected, as you can see. We have the video, the images, and the rest. So let's go to our About Us page. We try to add some images. So I'm going to go to About Us page. How do you add images? Let me say this is the head section of our site. I'm going to just underneath About Us, there's an image there. So I'm going to say IMG. That's how they add image. So IMG, if you just play IMG like that and press enter, it shows you the next stage is the image source. Don't forget, members, where is our image located? It's in the folder. Where is that folder? It's called images, not so? Yes. So you just add images. The folder first of the image, it is /. Specify which image do you want to talk to. We have image 1, 2, 3, and 5. You get? All of them are .j. Some of them are .png. Some of them are .jpeg, not so? So let me say I'm going to say 1.png. If I save that and I refresh here, we should see the images like that. But it's too big. We can as well go back and resize it. Now with HTML alone, without adding CSS into this page, we can as well resize it accordingly. By which just saying we need to know the width of our image. The width of the image also to some extent specifies as the height. So in this case around, we just want the image height, so the width. Which if you say 300, definitely it's going to be sized to 300, and I think that's the 300 basing on it. If you say I want the image height to be approximately maybe 500, definitely the image height is going to be of 500 to something of that site. So I believe you guys are doing internship at the moment. You should really look onto that in that scenario, that without adding up something called the CSS or the inline CSS inside your particular image, you can as well speak the image using the HTML5 behavior that definitely when you try to apply it on your HTML, it will really respond to what you would like a given particular field should be acted on. So that's how they add an image. Maybe still on About Us page there, we want to put some audio. You feel like you want in About Us there's some audio. And also in your home page, we need some kind of image there. So I can go back inside here underneath just in this section. I can just also say, you know what, inside here we have some kind of maybe image also there. And I specify, remember we have the images, we speak to the folder, maybe we're going to have image 5, which is going to be .jpeg, like that. So if you check back and you try to go back home, I think you can also see the images added there. You get? And for it is just that it's small. We have not specified yet the height and the rest. But you can also go and talk of the width of maybe 500. Please don't say 500 pixels. Here we don't specify those 500 pixels of yours. Just specify it and say 500. Don't confuse your programmers. No? Ever might will work for you the way if you say 500 pixels. But I would suggest just leave it. You're going to confuse some of your friends, especially to some browsers that maybe tomorrow you may tend to work with. Is it okay? Just say 500. Don't specify, especially if you're using the HTML5 behavior. Don't mix it. Is it? You don't mix it with the CSS behavior that we believe whenever anything should be, and maybe it's height or width, we talk of the pixels, or we talk of maybe the VH or something of those, or the percentage. You don't mention it when you're mainly using HTML5 alone. Now, I was trying to talk about inside the home page, we have that. Inside About Us, we have some image. And I wanted inside About Us to add some audio. So how do you add audio? Who can tell me how they add audio? Let me say I'm having audio image there, and there's the audio and then before the image. No? We have an audio there. Who knows how they add audio? My friend, how do they add audio? Do you know how to add audio? Did you guys reach there before? Have you reached there?
It's where we are.
It's where you are. Surprising, we are there now. For us, we start in 1 day. For you, start the full 2 weeks. God bless you. Now, this is how they add audio. I just say audio like that. And specifically, after you saying audio, don't forget, I told you in HTML, everything you open, you close it. Whatever thing you open, you close it. So don't confuse that. So, there, just specify. This audio also going to talk of the source. The audio should talk to the source. Where is the audio coming from? This time around, our audio is in the audios. So, and this is it. It's audios. So, if you know your hand is shaky, you feel like you don't know the spellings, and you might have used the capital letters, you might have used small letters, you don't know the right real things. Don't write what you don't understand. Just come here where the audio is, right click there, go down where they say rename. Copy that name. Come and copy this name here. You get? Is the name you tend to paste there of your image, of your audio. Then the next thing, this is the audio name. Remember, that's the folder name. Give a /. The next thing you're going to do here, right click again, come here, name, and you copy the complete path, the name of the image. Copy it, like so. Don't cut, please, just copy, and then if possible, paste it underneath there. After doing that, come here and click save. Now remember, we have just added our audio, but please, they don't add audios the way they add what? Images. So you'll not see anything. You get? We would be by now seeing some. Where is it? I'm not seeing. I think my browser is not working. No, it's not that. You have not added the audio property. You have just added the audio path. So you need to tell the image. So you need to talk to you need to go back to the code and try to add some properties, and then that can give the audio to be displayed. One of them is the audio controllers. We need to make the audio control. Like, you don't need to put anything else there. Just say audio control. Just put controls. And trust me, when you just add a control to a given particular image, audio, we should be really seeing audio there. I think you can be seeing my audio. The audio is really there, and trust me, if I hit here, boom, and it should be, yeah. You already hear the audio. But there's other property you can add in the audio as well. For instance, you want to specify that given audio, and you want that audio to have, when it's already working, you want it to continue playing, to have a loop. You want the audio to continue, playing. You want it to have a loop inside your HTML. So how do you do that? You want to specify the audio to have a loop, that when it is playing like this, when it has reached here, like there, let me just, you see, it's winding up, but when it reaches there, it stops there. I want when it reaches there, start afresh again. Okay? To do such kind of behaviors, if possible, just come in here and say loop. Meaning, if I refresh here on the audio, and I start playing it, and I come here, see? Let me just try to make it. You see, it's winding up. As you can see, it's winding up. But after winding it up, it's definitely going to start afresh to play again. That's how they add audio, and you make the audio playing. So some of you guys, you compete with your friends on their phones and the rest. Create a simple thing on your PC. Maybe you're downloading a music. Maybe you're downloading something on your PC, and you want to make a program continue. Make a simple HTML that continue playing that same thing, whether even you're sleeping, so that you can even dream it. Some of you guys have bad luck because the dogs are busy shouting at night outside. You get the point. You always you dream that the dogs are chasing you, because the fact that you are connected to the dogs which are fighting outside at night. You get? You can limit this type of bad luck by you having some music playing on the background when you're sleeping, meditating in your future in the dream. You get? Some of you guys get to dream that the goat is chasing you, And yet you're not sleeping next to the God just because your mind, there might be an atmosphere within that might be portraying that at the end of the day. So in simple terms, that's how they do it. Now the next thing we have at the moment, inside about us, maybe we have something called, if you try to follow along with us so far, we are still in the procedure, but we already know what's called the tags, we already know how to add images, we already know how to add audios. Now let us try to say, we're going to talk about adding sub and sub. You get? Is it okay? So that you can also look on how to add videos. If maybe you can even add videos at once, just underneath here, add videos. Just after the image here, if possible after the image. Should we add the video? Yes, so we can just say the video, please, the same thing. Just type like that video. Come underneath here. This is our video we have here. It's too long. You can rename it. It's not a scene, eh? Don't be there and you say I should only have something long. You can rename it. Mine is called mobile app, how to create a button, blah blah. I can even move this. I don't need, no, it's too long. Maybe it's too long for me. I can just say I don't want this, or I don't want this. So it's too long for me. It's up to you. You can move that one off and just click there. And that's it. So you don't need to bother and worry. But please, when you're naming, don't be very wise and again you rename the what? The extension, the .mp4. We're not saving it in my x. Please, it will not work out for you, meaning you have changed the file format. Is it okay? So make sure when you're saving there and you're naming that, you can name the content, you can name the files information, but don't change the file one on us, the file extension name like .png, .jpeg, .mp3, .mp4. Boss, don't stop dozing. It's still data. How should we stand? You remember in baby class in primary when you are standing, stand up and you clap your hands. You remember that? You get? So let me just try to copy this very name and if possible, I try to put it this side, inside here on our audio or our video. So I'm just going to come back down here again. I try to make the source. Remember, it's inside videos. If you guys remember the path very well now, I just paste it like that. Still, even if you do that, you remember in about us. Although you do that, my friends, you're not going to see. You're just going to see it as if it is an image. If you add if you add a video direct into your application and you don't give the controls on how the video should be displayed, trust me, it will be taken as if it is an image. So that implies whenever you're adding a video into your website, you see it's now added as an image. So meaning it's lacking the controls as well as the way you did the other side on the audio. So the same properties the audio has been having is the same thing the video also have. The same thing we add also in the videos. You get me? These guys from Achilles can shout noise. I think that's why they always have strikes. But I've forgotten that we are recording. You guys are watching this video, it's up to you to listen. But actually they are shouting in the background. Now, if you just save that and have the controls ready pass into our video, trust me, if you shake back down here again, try to just refresh here. I think you can now even see the video is loading. I think you guys can see some loader there. Poop. And when I click there, I think you can hear from the background. There's some video playing already. Are you seeing that? But it does not have the other behavior when it reaches here and you want it to stop. Like when it has reached there, it will just stop. It will not start afresh again. You get? And by default, when you're using HTML5, it has got properties, it has got things. There are many other things you can add in your video. Like if you check around, we have other few things that you can add. You can add page to page, picture to picture. Like you guys always see those things when you're scrolling, you see a video can play from here, eh? But here when you try to see, I think you always see those things on Facebook. But stop dozing. Stop dozing. You know you have the big eyes, and with those you can see. Some of you when you close your eyes just mean like you see as if be as if you are bent. Okay. But that's it definitely. So if you shake here again in simple term, you can also add loops, just the very way we did the other side on adding it on the other way around. Is it okay? Yes. So you also when you have that and try to refresh on our website. Remember, when you add page to page, or when you try to use page to page, it does not care whether you're an active very page or not. As long as you have page to page, it will just continue playing, or them here or them anywhere else. You see, it will just continue playing, and the video can as well continue playing. So if I'm back here and I close here, and I think you can see I'll go back to where the video has been. If I click here again and I stop there, this becomes hibernated and this is busy playing up. And when I close this one here, this one just continue in the other way around when you click there. So please, that's just a simple way how you add audio and videos into your page. These are just the controls that you need to take note of whenever you add. Now those are basic control that you're having to add in your images and video. You maybe later on use a CSS and maybe other versions of the plugins from JavaScript and the rest to have a modified unique video maybe and audio players that you can create on your own. Is it okay? So that implies for now in this case we already know how to add audios, images, we know how to deal with the tags. Let's look on time the moment we already have the images as well and the audio. So you can just cut this off. I remove all what you know we are done with. We paste them up there. So what we know we haven't handled, which are these things, and they're very, very important. And that's what I'm left with to say that this video for complete beginners is actually complete. You can actually tell those guys who are watching this video to subscribe. They don't need to be stingy. They need to subscribe. Those who want to share this video, share them. And those who want to come for internship as well, let them come. Isn't it? Now, also on the other way around, this is some few things that we need to take note of. We have the sub and sub. So if you give assumption, let me just try to say not in about us, in contact us. Let me just say in contact us, I have another H. Let me say we have H3 or H2. And I have, all of us believe this would be oxygen. Is it oxygen or water? Okay, all of us believe that should be water. Inside contact us, we believe this would be water. You give us something, you want to say water, no? You with a chemical term, like with using chemistry, you believe this is water. So how do you break that down? There's something called the subs, and then zap, meaning sub and sub. So if I want to talk to these two, and I use sub, like that, and I just put my 2 there. What does SUP do? SUP makes it to be on top. That's a SUP. Like you see, supplement. You get it? Then it's ZAP. ZAP, like the substitute. Let me say subtract. Supplement. Supplement means add. That's why it sits in power 2. And we are not after power 2. Instead, we are after the deduction of that given stuff that you may see around there on a page. And I think right now, we believe, if you guys check again now, we really have water. Also, mean you can really make a chemical term. Like if I can say alcohol, I think you guys, who among you did the chemistry in HSC? Do you have someone who did chemistry here? He did the chemistry. Can you tell me the chemical term for alcohol?
Alcohol. Depends the environment.
I don't care. Just give me the bio, the simple one.
We have CH.
CH what?
Then CH, COOH.
Hey, how about if you said CH? How about if I just mention it in that way?
Yes. Okay.
That's okay. I also did alcohol by the, but I used to make the one I drink. All that God helped me that I didn't get spoiled with alcohol. But I think in simple term, if you guys remember that, do you see that? Does that look like alcohol? How about that one?
Just end with the OH.
I end with the OH.
Yes.
You're meaning OH.
Yeah.
OH. I think I'm still fine. Okay, let me use the one you understand. Which is that? Not so?
OH.
Fast wait. You after doing that, I end with the OH.
Yes.
Hey, so you're meaning this simple one, eh? That one. So give us something. If you save that, this is not what we mean. Well, in a simple term, when you're doing the equation, that's called it. That's paper what? That's the paper what? Paper 1, paper 2, paper 3. That's organic. The organic chemistry, not so. In a simple term, this looks, but you may need to put it like really to mean what you're trying to talk about. That implies you need to subtract that value from that, you get? So such kind of scenarios, and to make real chemical terms. Are you seeing that? Yes. Now give assumption I'm taking it to the shop. I want to show that the shop, the sugar, the soap, it was at 5,000, 3,000. Now we are selling it at 10,000 Uganda shillings, because I think you know the crisis in Uganda brought by Russians. No, sorry, not Russians. Brought by the. I don't want to talk about the dictator. They may circumcise this video. They may kuamba. Eh? Okay. Let me just go to the scenario. We have something else here. I just want to talk about, like, give us something you have a given quantity, or you have given stuff, eh? And it was maybe Uganda shillings, UGX. Maybe it was a given product. Let me say sugar. And you want to portray it here, and you want to say maybe the sugar was at 3,000 or 4,000. Now we want to sell it at less price, or maybe in high price. Eh? I want to say maybe we have now it at how much? How much, you guys? How much you guys nowadays sell buy sugar? Maybe it's at, you want to give a discount, or you want to give it at low price. You get? It's at 3,500. Let me say that's it. Now there's that thing. I think I messed up somewhere. Okay, good. There's that thing that portrays what we have. You want this to be, you want a strike to be there, you know? You want to show a strike. Please, HTML supports strike the way it is. Just the way you hear the word is strike. Strike? Is that a spelling for strike? Hmm? Strike. Strike. Like that? Like that? Like that? Okay, let me hope it is the very spelling. Otherwise, if it's not, tugenda kuswala, because it's not going to work. I think you can see that. That's a strike. In HTML, we also have something called a what? A strike. So the strike shows you that maybe initially the sugar was at this point. So this is where we have our strike. And that implies definitely now at the moment the sugar is going to be at this point. I think you guys always tend to see something of that sort, not so? So that's how they tend to add strike into a page. How we always tend to render strike into a given particular page. Is it okay? Yes. So this definitely describes for you how completely you can come up with a page. No gamba, so when I was selling a shop, blah blah this at this price. Maybe I'm making, some of you guys here, any of you guys here who does maybe for your work is like you get a product at 5,000 and you want to sell it at 6,000. Do you have some people here? Because them blockers. Do you have some blockers around? Meaning none of you guys is a blocker when they sell you, when your parents send you to the shop to buy soap, which all of us knows that soap now is a bit expensive. You also tell them the truth that the soap is at 5,000, or you add some increment of 1,000. No one, eh? Lucky you, remain poor. Okay, in general that's it. So that's how you do tend to add that. Now let's look onto at the moment. How do we break up? How do you add date, like a date of the year? Those are called, today is January, blah 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 blah. Maybe there's Feb, March, etc. So maybe let me just add it here. Sorry, add it also there. Date. So let me say today is, maybe it is Jan. Actually, I think we're in March, eh? We're in March. March what? March maybe, today is 16th, not so? You want to show that 16th, maybe 2022. So you want to show that 16th into the page. That's 16th into the page. The 16th, that stuff. You add their sub. You supplement it with that. Is it okay? That's how they add a supplement, and I think you can see it. You're trying to say today is 14th, today is 15th, today is the 1st, today is the 2nd, today is the 3rd. You get the point? That's how they do it. They just supplement into your given page to portray what someone else may definitely need to know of the page. Let me just move this paragraph off from our page so that you can utilize this page alone to describe and explain everything we want everyone to understand concerning website designing for complete basic. Whoever wants to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please subscribe. Some of you guys are here and you have never even subscribed to my channel. You have never? And I've been with you for more than 3 years. You know that? Okay, in simple terms, that's it. But just make sure that's it. So, the same thing, if maybe you want to say maybe fast, you get it? Like you want to mean fast. Please, it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. It is just that. It's just a matter of changing. But now here, remember, you're using manual. You know? You're using manual supplementation. But if you use real use real PHP and you want to come up with it, we shall realize how we can actually make that real thing to work and work very well. Now we have other few things to deal with, and that's how to add iframes into our page. You get? What are iframes? Iframes are like you want to extend one page to another page so that you can demonstrate what you want someone else to see from a previous page. Maybe before going to those things, let me first show you guys how to deal with the tables. Is it okay? Okay. So let me deal with the tables here. I'll just put it as a separate page. So I have tables.html. So I'm going to just delete my simple stuff just as tables. So I'm going to just say here HTML5 tables. So how do you do with the tables? There are different things you need to know about tables. My friends, students from Materials can shout. Now the tables has got something called the table header and the table what? My first wait, are they fighting? What's going on? But I think they're taking Jagger. Those guys are okay, it's fine. So I'm trying to say at the moment we have tables. And underneath tables there are things we really need to know and we need to understand. How do they add a table? How do they deal with the tables? What are the things you need to know when you're coming up with the tables? How do you cut a given table? How do you call span a table? How do you cell span? All of that, there's how you add those given stuffs in our table. Now, inside the table, there's something called table header. I always like using it so much in my tables. And table header has also moved to the property called the table H. Sorry, table TH, just as TH. Then have TR. I think I've misled my stuff. That. Then TH. Whereby here we specify, like maybe say, names, phone number, maybe H. Let me just say that. If you save this and try to shake and refresh in the browser, you tend to have this joined together. To differentiate that, you add something called table border. You add a border like maybe of 1. Don't say 1 pixel, just 1. I think you can see it looks something like that. Now here, sometimes you can also give the width. Let me say width of 500. I think that you tend to space it and scale it. You can even say a width of 1000 is like twice the 500 stuff, which is approximately something of that sort. Is it okay? So that gives us a complete lengthened width of our application. Is it okay? Yes. So inside there, after giving the header, this is the header section of your table. We also have the other section down of our table, which we tend to give the table body, where we expect our content to be coming from, or where we expect our content to be displayed. Is it okay? I expect you guys, the next time we meet, to have a completely responsible working website. I'm ready, I'm free to give you free space online from my server. Nenda kuwa space za werere in condition you already have a simple demo website and you want where to host it, I will give you a free hosting space from my server. if you know you can do something simple. What you just need to do is to buy a domain name. Domain name is at 60,000. That's with SSL certificate. You get? Come up with a simple website. Don't come with this website from your client. Number you come up with your simple website. I'll give you free space. Or practicing when you see panel yo. I will give you on panel. You practice from it, and I will show you how to host. Just look for 60,000 for buying domain name. Are you getting me? Look for 60K, buy a domain name, because 60 domain name I don't give domain name. I don't sell. I have a reseller account for domain name, but I don't give free domain name because I really have to put dollars there. Over $15, which approximately 56,000. Which that's what I'm saying, 60,000 for like with the transfer and all those stuffs. So if you really feel like you want to have one, jangu, and you have a site. I show you how to use and start practicing online with your own domain name and space, madam, so that you can practice making a real website than keeping things on your desktop or that's no longer a story of 2022. Practice, understand. So I went from this simple stuff. Members, you have something basic that you can also tell somebody you have. Now, come back down here. We have something called the table body. Remember that one was the table header. The table header is the title of your site. The table body is the one which displays the content of your site. You get the content you want people to know, the content you want people to interact with. You get my point? So here I need to just talk about the TR. Who knows TR? Table row. And who knows that TD? Table data. That's very good. Maso mirawa. Adamati mwana uli bako ngoli. Oliye mukoda ononali atunde wote. Tali kweba kabatule ya mtu alada. But I know it's in the class. Now remember we said here names. Let me just say here I have a name like David. You give the phone number and maybe 07 blah 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 if that's the number, and also give the age. If maybe it's 30, you give 30 or 29. So you find that there in the table row, it displays for us the content in that given particular way. You get? So like, to save time, I'm just going to duplicate our content. Is it okay? Yes. So I duplicate the complete table row. You get? Yeah. You guys might be seeing something of that sort. So if you check here, we have something of those kind of info. Is it okay? Yes. That's how they tend to add some few things in your HTML. There are other properties you can as well add there whereby you have divided the site, and in simple term you want the names to be in the middle. You want what? That's just called styling. You style the body to be in the middle. You style what to be from this side. Something of those sort. So it depends on how really you want it to be displayed. How would you like it to interact? How would you like people to see it? You get? Depend on the architecture. Sometimes you might see on the site you have got something called, like for instance, you have inside here, and then they add something called call span. There's something called cell padding. I don't know whether that's a spelling for cell padding. I don't know whether. Missing what? Another one error here. Let me move out. That is not making any difference. Am I doing it in the right way, or I'm getting old? There's something called cell padding and there's cell spacing. You get? I don't know. Cells. Okay, there's something called cell padding and cell spacing that you can definitely describe on your tabletop here, and you give it cell. See there, that's it. Cell padding. That's it. Let me say cell padding, and I'm giving it 4. How does cell padding look like? You refresh. I think it gives the difference. It tends to make spaces within the what? Within those cells. Now you're adding a padding, and then cell spacing. Cell spacing. Let me say 5. Cell spacing makes it more beautiful and nice. I think something of those sort. You're trying to give spacing within it of the cells. Maybe cell spacing of 10. So it makes your work look like, yeah, as if there's something, as if it is what you get. That's called cell spacing and cell padding. Those are some of the few things you guys need to understand, especially when you're dealing up with the tables in your HTML. It depends on how you really want your table to look like, but I'm giving you a complete basic for those complete beginners in HTML website designing. Now, I also have other few things that you really need to master and really need to know and need to get to know. And that's called among the last thing we need to left with is we're done with the tables. Let's first look onto forms. Is it okay? Yes. So let's now look onto forms. You guys be attentive a bit. Be attentive. Go get ofuna musinze. Because mubuze ask. It's mubuze. Mubuza. Sorry, ask. Okay. So we'll look onto forms at the moment. So I'm just going to deal maybe here. I'm just going to say HTML5 forms. Yeah. HTML5 forms. So if you refresh here again in the browser, we just have our stuff there. Remember, we're not using any CSS at all. You get? There's also something called a horizontal line. Those ones are done with just making HR. You get? Yes. They give us a horizontal kind of a line in our site. You get? So if you shake right now, refresh there, I think you can see that line passing there. You know? It makes it nice and beautiful, not so? Those are, I'm trying to portray and show you guys all of HTML behaviors and where you may use. So there are things I've used in the form, there are things I've used in the table, there's things I've used on the other way around. You guys just join all of them. I'm going to give you all these files. Even you guys are watching these videos online, get the videos in the description. I'm going to post there on my GitHub. But why do I post on the GitHub? You're going to find from my website because I need you even to know where the website is located. So I'm going to put from my website. You guys who are watching online, you can actually go and download it. The complete beginner will follow the video. Download the video as well so that you can follow along with it. You get? These are the video you can even watch when you're sleeping. You can even watch in the dream. Some of you guys, you tend to understand especially when you're sleeping. You get? Yeah, just make sure it's in a loudspeaker. Turn it on. Put the headset. You'll understand it. So in simple time, we're going to look onto HTML forms. Now this is it. With the forms, there are things to talk about. We have a lot of the things to base on. But I'm going to start with the basic first of all. Let me say inside here, I'm going to just comment if okay with you. Let me just say dealing with just simple forms. You get? Simple forms input. Remember, forms has got input. You get? I'm going to first start with input. So let me just say we have here. Sorry. I'm going to just talk about inputs. So this is it. So here in the forms, you just got a form like that and just talk about a label. We have a label, maybe we have something called, we ask you something called maybe first. You always see somebody asking you first name. You get? We have also maybe if possible. Then here the type, maybe it is text because we believe someone's name is the text. Here the name, you can just give the first name. You also can also add a placeholder, maybe enter first name. Yes, this is a video for what is somebody watching this video for free. You lose nothing. Some of you guys are watching these videos, you are very rich. I'm not saying I'm not rich. If I tell them I'm not rich, they will criticize the video. But we need to tell them to support us, whereby they can send money so that we become more rich. Yeah, so you guys do, but let's make the video. But this is what I'm trying to say. First name, you give the first name of the person, you enter there something called what do you want people to see on the input box. You get? To explain more about what people are really watching. What do you want that person is going to enter into the form? What do you want them to see? So this is it. We have here something called the first name. That first name comes in here. First name is coming in from here, from the label. Then this name you are seeing here, where they say name, that's what the PHP or the programming language is going to pick so that it can substitute or can take it to the database depending on the name. Later on, you guys may even see when you're using an ID, we can also specify and say first name. This here tends to help us if you're using JavaScript. Members, get me here. I'm going to explain only two things here, which is very, very important. One is this. You always see someone say their names. You always see those names in your websites or in people's codes. That's what we use if we're using PHP. That's one is one which tells the PHP that there is there's a field there called the name. Good. When you see this, it implies those people might not be submitting record using PHP, but they might be using JavaScript, Ajax, or jQuery. That to respond, or Node.js, or Express.js, to respond with information, trying to still say, then when you want to talk to this first name and you want someone to type there, to know and make the database, MySQL, which you guys already know, to know that there's a field called first name. Wanongateka koshi first name. I get my point? To communicate to the database that there's a field called the first name. Here you just say first name. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have understood me. We are trying to make the forms fields. That there's a first name, there's a last name, there is a course, there's a blah blah. You get it? So to make sure that fields are there in the MySQL database, here you let the person know that there's a field in the database called first name. There's a field in the database called last name. There's a field in the database called the phone. You get? Like me say if this is last name, so you just put it here. And then maybe there's something you have here. So it's up to them. How are they substituting record in the database? So here you can just tell them enter last name. Then maybe here phone number. So phone number can be tel. You get? Yeah, telephone. Here can just be phone. Enter phone. So if you check here again on our site and try to refresh, we have something of that sort. So if I just try to make it big for you guys, you should be seeing something like that. So here say enter phone number, and when you type entering, it goes away. You know so? When you say enter last name, if you try to entering, it goes away. The other thing, those are the things you see is going away is what they call the place holders. So when you come back in on our site here, we need to get something called a submit button. So let me just say a button. And I just say maybe submit. You want someone to submit the record to the database. So whereby here you have type. The type, most cases when it is submitting record, is called submit. It's only called submit if I go told we're looking onto the page to refresh. Want the page to refresh, like for instance, this is what I'm trying to say. If I could try to come in here and I want, when I click there, the page to refresh, as you can see on top here, the page is, can you see it? The page is refreshing. So if you check here now, if you check, I just need to move this. And I try to come back here. I put the name here, I put the phone number there. If you try to submit, I think you can see, try and say the first name is that, and the last name is that, and that is that, and the phone is that. Are you getting me? Yes. So that's like it's trying to give it as a search, because here on top of a page, it does not have a method in which it is submitting this record to the database, if at all we are connected to the database. But remember, you just need to put a method there and say maybe post. Post means we're posting to the database. And post is the best to say sure way. Tomorrow you guys who are going to learn in PHP to submit record to the database, the best option is to post, not to get. There are two methods you can always use. And you can also use a method called request. But I'm going to give you best later on if you guys comment down more on this video saying it is very nice. You guys who are watching, you guys who are learning as well, you give me a good clue and trying to say, because we have done it, but you have understood as well. The only best two methods you can always communicate to the database. One is called a post or get. And the best of the best is using a post. Because the post tend to encrypt your information, no one tends to know how they are going to be submitted to the database. No one in the other way around can easily hack and bypass submitting record to the database. Is it okay? So the best method option is called the post. Well, other people tend to use your get, like I've told you, but the best option is called the post. Then you need also to give an action that when they are submitting record, are we processing everything within this very page, or the information you are processing are going to be submitted to another page? This calls for something called an action. Action is required when they're posting this information to the MySQL database. So you create an action to post this information to the database. Where in my case, maybe I may be using HTML here in this page, but I want it to be processed inside the PHP in the post in the page called maybe post.php. Where post.php might be the page that we are posting this information to be processed. Are you getting me? But for this simple scenario, I don't have even post.php. I don't have that external page at the moment. So maybe we just start the purpose, and for now we are leaving that page empty like as that. But remember, it cannot submit any record to the database. But we already know how forms are created, and we already have a complete clue on how forms should be submitted to the database. However, say so that's it. So when you try to add those behaviors, all those stuffs on your forms, there's nothing that changes. We just going to have those stuffs. And now this time around, or you click here several times, or you try to add something there in our forms and you click here, it does not go anywhere, it does not do anything. You get my point? We just tend to have the stuff just like that. Is it fine? Good. Now that's fine. Now there's also something that you guys need to understand. What if we have someone's gender? How do we handle it? We have someone, either is a male or Malay, female or Malay. So how do you handle that? You need to talk to the form. Should I stop there? Don't say stop. Don't say that I don't stop. We began from there. We have reached here. Some of you guys are just now seeing as if you're watching film. I want at least to leave you guys when you have already understood what to do. Now, we have something called the checkbox. You get? You always have a checkbox. Like the input, but the type of this input is a checkbox. So we have something called a label, maybe gender. You get? Maybe gender is on top of our thing there. And we want to talk to this input box. They're all input box. But the type is going to be check what? Is the type checkbox? Maybe checkbox. And inside the checkbox, we have maybe somebody is called, there we have just a name. Not so? Just gender. Not so? But how are you going to talk that gender corresponding with someone else? You pass something in format of array is something of that sort. You get my point?
Yeah.
Then here you just call it maybe gender, and here is called male. Here you can break it if you want to break, and then here you can just duplicate it. This is going to be female, or this is going to be Malay. Female. Like that, the other is Malay. Let me see what I have is that. Are you seeing that? You get? But this is not good when we are trying to register. You are giving a checkbox? No. It should be a radio button. So this shouldn't be checkbox. This should be radio button. Radio. Is it like that? Or just radio? Okay, good. Yeah. If that's it. So you either tick that or you tick that. You get? That's how they do it. But you make sure inside here you have an array of this. So this gives a complete architecture to this application to have a complete behavior. That when you select one, the other one should be not selected. Maikola wangabi nyuma. Owato vitegira tubikomao. Banga wayambala yelo tebakoba. Mera bacha tukulembera musajja wade yakaddiye naye ma. Okay, why we proceed? Okay, in the simple term, that's it. But there we give a check radio button. You may also look on a scenario where you want to use a checkbox, like if you have subjects. You get the point? You want someone to select maybe possible subjects. Let me try to just put a break here, if possible, on our page, and I just say maybe a label there, and I say maybe subjects. Like you want somebody to select possible subjects. Like if you want someone to select, there we have multiple options for someone to give a selection. So for that kind of scenarios, or for such scenarios, you need something called a checkbox, not a radio button. Is it okay? So you have checkbox, and this can just be one on as subjects, like that. So this is what is taken in the database. Maybe this is math. We also have your science. We have your what? English. And we have SST or social studies. So if you definitely click there, there are options as you can see. We can as well select as many as we wish, and when you click there, we definitely submit the records we want to add into our form details. My friend, there's nothing more big than that, but there's one thing that we are left with to add, and that's called what? Selection. Is it okay? So let's handle everything so that you guys don't go back home when you don't know them. So I'm adding the last part of this form of ours, which I'm going to break there as well, and add also something called a selection. Like you want someone to select option. Yeah, the selection options. Like we have a selection here, or select. Select, like select with option. Maybe select, choose option, or choose. Yeah, so maybe you have something like this. Maybe you have here maybe male. Most cases, also a good practice to take it from this side like that, and then you just proceed with this way. That's a selection. So there can also be a selection of your site. When someone clicks there, you can either select male or you can select female, something of that sort. Is it okay? So when you click like that, it's there's a property called required that you can actually add in your site. Like if I say inside here, I put it required, it implies it's a must. That field should be placed. Like this is it. If I come in here and I click here, I think you can see it say, please fill out this field. Those are simple form validations in HTML that definitely you can use in application. Not someone just submitting an empty fields. You use required property that gives it a good understanding to your application. That even someone tomorrow using your site can say, man, this guy knows to code. Although he used this beginners, it looks to be as if it's beginners application, but it portrays to make someone understand, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy is good. This guy is a good programmer. So there you give a property like name required, then you can as well give in here, maybe to store gender, blah, blah, whatever thing you want to give in your applications. You definitely give that. So when someone is inside here and he clicks there and you enter here, boop, I've already entered there. It asks you the next one where you're going to enter that one also. So you don't just submit. When you click that, it also asks you, please select the gender. When you click there, then submit. Even here, you can make them to be required. You get? Unless somebody has selected a given particular field inside there, then the application can submit. Otherwise, if it is not so, there's nothing this application can actually submit into our HTML application. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes. So my friend, that's it. The last thing that I'm going to talk about in the forms, what? What I was saying about forms. Forms in number forms. Is it okay? So let's talk about the iframes or iframes. Get iframes.html. So how do the iframes behave? Iframes, we tend to use them on the videos. You want to pick a video from YouTube and you want them to be playing direct on your website. You add an iframe because even you want to add an iframe source. So let me just explain this to you very further. Iframes. So just now, from today, how to deal with the iframes. You just add them like that. You see, the iframe has also got an iframe source. Let me just get a video on my YouTube channel like that video. This is the video. I can pick it from here where I want to share so that I can pick it. You realize that even here, from my YouTube channel, you realize that if it all goes successfully, they are going to generate for us an iframe. An iframe simply means that I can get a video from a website, I make it to play on my website, but don't go to your website. Don't go to YouTube. Remain on my website, ospro.com. Watch my videos from YouTube, but remain on my website. But as you're on my website, everything, whatever thing I'm doing, it's actually going to be displayed that as if you watched from YouTube, because I've just extended another frame, just like see iframe. Extend the frame A to B. Are you getting me? Let me use another example. We have this page tables. Are you guys seeing this page tables? Are you seeing the page? Make an iframe. I've made a page called iframe. So if you go to run this shortly, if I just run this, we have just iframe. I think you can see it makes kind of as if it is a film, kind of a square kind of size. Now it's waiting for you to place there a page. So I'm going to copy a page called what? Tables, and I put in iframes. How do they do it? You just put a page path. So since we are on the same directory, we're on the same pages, as you can see, we're on the same place, not so? I just need to come in here and I say this page called tables, I just want to pass it there, tables.html. So I'm picking a tables and I'm passing it there. So if you do that, I'm inside iframes, but I can see whatever thing is in tables. I'm inside this table page here under the internet slow, but if I copy it, I can move that off and I paste it there. And if I do this, I refresh here, I think you can see it is loading. The other videos is loading it now. That's why it's taking long, and it's going to load it here. And even an iframe, you can add the width to it. You can add the width of maybe 800. I see. You can also add it a height. I see. So you make something big. It's not that this is taking long, but if I give assumption, I still talk to my tables, which is this one here. I see there now. It's like you have got another page from the other page of tables. You have brought it here. You have extended the table B. You have extended another page. Page Y, page Gundi. Maybe some other page. You want to bring it here. You use something called an iframe. Remember, is it okay?
Yeah.
Can we call it a day? Okay, thanks for watching. You guys who might be watching this video. Even you guys are going to take a copy. Don't just take a copy and sleep. Take a copy and practice. Otherwise, thank you. Any question before I close? Okay, if there's nothing, then let's just stop there. Okay, thank you.